Welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts Sex Podcast, a show that examines all aspects of sexuality, from physical to emotional to spiritual. Join our hosts as they discuss age-old questions, common misconceptions, and the latest topics surrounding sex. They'll tackle topics about sexuality from the complicated to the hilarious and everything in between. GSMC Sex Podcast is your show for all of your questions about sex, even some you might not have thought of yet.
Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Andra, where the topic about sex is from the point of view of an older woman. So, welcome to today's segment and sexy session. We're going to talk about today. Now, we always talk about intercourse or how we can get, deeper in and get that ultimate orgasm by, fully penetrating, fully going on board between rough and soft sex and everything. Those are still awesome things and awesome sex. But there's also outercourse. And that is like non-penetrating sex. And you can get great pleasure from that. And it is a lot of bonding. And your orgasms are still going to be so intense. So today, we're going to talk about, some non-penetrative sex ideas that are just as pleasurable as intercourse. And, we're going to go through some 7 outercourse techniques that you can use. And these are to help you orgasm and build that intimacy, because we all want something different. We all want to spice up our sexual pleasures and our sexual acts and try something different. We don't want boring sex, people. We want sex we want more of. When we talk sex, the first thing we all think about is sexual intercourse. But there are other ways that we can be sexually aroused, get to that orgasm, and make that act very, very pleasurable. We love to start out with foreplay. Heck, that is always a fun thing, and you can get a little imaginative with that. However, when it comes to outercourse, then let's look at this. What is the first part of these words? Intercourse. In. Outercourse. Out. It's just as simple as that. You can have an awesome orgasm feeling that way and pleasuring yourself without pleasuring your partner, because you want to both be pleasured. You could do it together, because it is outercourse. And getting that orgasm. Because if you actually look at how the human bodies, the female and the male, are built and where their genitals are, us as females, yes, we have an innie. We have our vagina, which gets penetrated. However, our stimulation is on the outside of our vagina. It is the clitoris, the labia, all those areas, our breasts, our nipples, all that is on the outside. And the male body is just the same. Theirs is on the outside. So stimulating those things, that's how we get each other wet. That's how we get each other excited and really, really longing for more and, yearning for that orgasm. So keep it up. I mean, there are different techniques out there, and they probably have all kinds of weird names and probably some pretty darn, oh my God, that makes sense names. If you close your eyes and have your partner, start at the front of your, top of your head and just, lightly go and all over your body, they're stimulating you because you're feeling it deep. So there are ways to look at this and there are ways to do this. Obviously, that leads me to the first and foremost that we can do with Outercourse. And a lot of people do go to a massage parlor. And when you're getting massaged, you're getting turned on. And it's a human reaction, a touch on our bodies. It's relaxing us. It's making us feel so relaxed and so satisfied that you can't, stop. Although women can hide it better than men. Ha ha. So there's that, with Outercourse. Start out with that erotic massage and look it up, research, find different ways to give that enticing sexual massage, because everything's going to be done on the outside. Even when you put your fingers between your partner's legs. If it's a female, you're going to slide your fingers between her legs and play with her clitoris ever so lightly, which is a total turn on for females. For men, when you get, opposite, switch over in that erotic massage, women are going to caress your penis and make sure it's really hard and really going up there, because once you are so fully erect, it's slowly she's going to caress your scrotum, balls, the spot between your scrotum and your anus. That's a very sexual part for a man. And turn it on, because there's so many sexual nerves, or the nerves that stimulate, and they're very, very sensitive, which is right in that little spot. So don't think that one part of the body is off limits, because it is not. And in a massage, an erotic massage, a sensual massage, hands on hand, we're getting hands on. Get your body ready, because you are craving that. Oh, do more. Go in, do more. But that's not what the goal is with the Outercourse. The goal is outside only. So, different textures too, turn-ons, like with a light. What I mean by textures, obviously you've seen, now they make all kinds of condoms with different textures, different colors, different stimulation that helps going in and out in that thrusting. Well, that's the same here with the massage. Get a pair of rubber gloves that have a texture on it and use that. But obviously don't do that right on their skin without lubrication, because lubrication is very, very important. This is where it will glide a lot easier, so the massage is much more enjoyable. Different textures, a lot of lube, and especially since we're working, on outside only, and it's Outercourse. Lube, major thing. So, because you want to have that feeling, that sensation, and massage oils. There, you got flavored ones. Where you can interchange with your hands and do it at the same time, while your hand with that different type of texture is massaging between their legs. Your partner could be, you could have gotten a lubricant that is edible, and they could be kissing and licking it off of you at the same time. So your body's gonna, kind of sort of focus on two different things, and it's so totally where you just want to grab them and go, but hold that back. Hold that back. Get relaxed. Let them, do that massage, even to the point of orgasm for you. So, another thing is mutual masturbation, obviously. Each one of you, while you have your hand between your partner's leg, your partner has their, hand either on your penis or between your legs in a same-sex relationship. But make sure that you are, pretty close. And even then, you could just be laying on the bed on your side and playing that way. Or you can do the all famous 69 position, where it's oral sex and your partner has their head between your leg, while your head is between their legs, and you are providing oral sex. But mutual masturbation, this is probably the best thing, because you're watching each other, and while you masturbate for them and they masturbate for you, you're watching each other's face, their feelings, listening to the sounds that they're giving off, the moaning, the groaning, everything that comes with it. So, mutual masturbation, it's great. I mean, this you can work into your foreplay when you actually want to go through penetration. I really believe, like, the first time that you try Outercourse, it's mostly probably going to be somewhat of an epic fail. If you are in the bedroom or you have the time to take, doing Outercourse sometimes is just to do it in, pretty much quickie-wise in the car, in places that, you can't exactly, you kind of sort of have your partner hands in the palm of your hand, and they can't really do anything, but they are so turned on. So you can, and it's that right there, everybody just thinks of as foreplay. Foreplay and Outercourse. Obviously, foreplay is just that little play to just get you that much excited so that you can go into intercourse. Well, foreplay minus the intercourse and continuing it and intensifying it is Outercourse. So it's a different way to see how you can get your partner, how you can pleasure each other, how you can think of new ways. And this is really, too, a great time to, teach your partner something new on you, or another way in which you are going to be able to get off without the sexual intercourse. It's showing them, putting their hands where you want them to go, softer, lighter. Communicate, a lot of communication, a lot of communication. You can also do it in kind of sort of blind diet, but I don't know if that is something that you want to do, because if you want to be boisterous to say that that's not doing anything for me, move it to the right or move it to the left. Go slower, go faster. Please do that. Now, Outercourse requires the obvious use of hands, so use them well. But Comes with the hands. There's a lubrication. Comes with the hands. You can use the toy. But you don't want to, because then again, it becomes penetration. So with a toy, find a small one, a little vibrator, or something that you could just use directed on the clitoris, directed in those pots on the penis, in between the scrotum and the anus. You could use a vibrator there, and it drives the guys crazy. So use those hands wisely. They are your weapons. They are your lifesaver. Dry humping. Everybody believes that dry humping is only something that kids do at dances when they're slow dancing, when they're getting the cheap thrill. They're coming around and getting the free feel on the girls' boobs when they're hugging them. Dry humping, sitting on your partner, all clothes on, and that's all it is. But no. Dry humping is dry humping. It is used all the time. Just as you get older, you pretty much know what you want to do and where you want to go with it. So it is there. It makes you feel good. Rekindle that art of dry humping. We're going to take a break here, and when we come back, we will continue with Outercourse, and our last segment will be, 11 positions that will respark the joy in your sex life, and you can, intertwine these with the Outercourse. So go get that drink, go get that snack, come back, get relaxed, and meet me back here for more sex talk with Andra, with a point of view of sex is from an older woman.
Still on the search of that one true love? On the limbo in this crazy world of dating, marriage, relationships? Well, listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Relationship Podcast, your one-stop podcast for everything about relationships.
Now, welcome back to the GSMC podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Andra, where the topic about sex is from the point of view of an older woman. Now, when we left off, we were still talking about our outercourse and different ways to do so, and left off on that lost art of the dry hump. Please reintegrate that back into your sex life, because it is an awesome sexual pleasure. So, and just basically rubbing your genitals up a part of your partner's bodies to get hot and bothered. And no penetration required. So maintains our outercourse. And in our last segment, just to recap, I'm going to give you 7 positions or 7 stretches that are going to 11 we can go with. How's that? 11. We'll go a little higher on that one. That's going to respark your sex life and get you deeper penetrated. Because after all of this outer course, we're going to want some penetration, sexual intercourse, some under the sheet action. Even though outercourse is under the sheets or on top of the sheets or on top of the table, so is sexual intercourse. So that's what we're going to want in the end. So that will be our last segment. So let's continue with Outercourse. Now, obviously, we all know that oral stimulation is awesome. There's that famous position 69, where you are both giving each other oral sex, but at the same time. So, taking that one step forward, and, there are names. There's Calingalus, and I'm probably saying it wrong, but I know what it is. It's when the female genitals are being stimulated by their partner's tongue and lips. No penetration required, but if you want to stick your tongue a little bit closer to, where penetration is, do it. But remember, no going in. Fellatio obviously is the opposite, where your partner is male and they are stimulating the penis with their mouth and their throat as deep as you can go. Some people can do some freaky stuff with their throats. Pull it on out. Show your partner what you got if you haven't already done so. So, oral stimulation, great Outercourse. Work it up. Do something different. Move your head in a different position. Just that simple to do. It's what you want, where you're coming in with it, and how you're working it. Lot of licking, lot of sloppy. But if you want a little bit of, what is it called? Flavor there, because the man's penis is like a lollipop. Suck that head. Put some flavored lube on there and go to town. It's basically placing the penis head in your mouth and just sucking it like a lollipop. I mean, it's quite simple, quite there, and which turns them on. So you really want to find ways, when we're going into Outercourse, and we're going to do that as opposed, it is the non-penetrative side of the sex. Try to, plan in your head that, okay, this is going to be no penetration. So what's going to work for the two of you? All right. Now, remember, granted, when you self-masturbate as women, you're using a dildo. Try masturbating without using any penetration. Gives you a whole nother way to figure that out. Men already do that. So this is something different for a woman. We have other spots. We have our nipples. We have everything is on the outside, and as such is very, very sensitive. So obviously I just said nipples, so you know what comes next. Nipple play. And be nice to those nipples because they will bring you pleasure and lots of it. Nipple play, always, always good. Suck, lick, gently caress. Play with them. Use ice cubes to get them hard and erect. Play with different temperatures. Going from hot to cold, rough to soft. Some people love that. Wiggle those suckers, shake those suckers, whatever you do. But be kind to them because they are your friends and they will bring you lots of joy. Now, obviously, when we were kids, what is we learned in school? Sensory play. And it comes as a comfort to us as human beings in some ways, and in other ways it's a calming, but then in other ways it's just to teach us when we were younger how different things feel, different things work, how that sensory, get our five senses working. And that is another portion and another aspect to Outercourse. Get those sensations, those senses working for you. Close your eyes and just take your tongue and explore your partner's body. You know that the farther you go down, you're going to reach the genitals at one point, but play a little game. Use different senses as you're going down and you're using your tongue for taste and feel. Breathe out your nose to smell the different fragrances. Obviously now, if there is one fragrance you do not want to smell, it might have been wise to take a shower beforehand. I'm just saying. You can get wax. Make sure that you both are okay with this, because wax you have to be very careful with. You have to get a wax that's not too hot and is able to be used so you don't burn your partner. So please remember that. With Outercourse, get kinky as you want. Remember, there is no penetration, so you want to get that orgasm and you want it to feel as deep as possible without the penetration. So get kinky. That kind of intertwines with the sensory play, and you can do things like spanking your partner. Spanking, yes, it falls under BDSM, but if you're going to go any further with that, please do, as I always say, have a safe word and communicate. We do not want to hurt each other with this. So with Outercourse, it could be a role play where someone being the dominant, and you ask them, do you want it? Do you want it hotter? Think in that way, because they are longing for penetration, but the whole idea is not to do that. And it also is a learning experience. So look at it that way. So you can see what happens when you do this with your partner without penetration. So when you do go back to sexual intercourse, you can remember this and say, "Ooh, I got my partner to this level in Outercourse," and then bring them back to that level, interchange the two, and then complete it. Because then at that point, hey, penetration is all yours. But the whole goal here is to remain and get to that orgasm without the penetration. You got to get creative. Remember that. It's not going to talk for itself, and it doesn't have the same end result with regards to penetration. It is the same end result with orgasm, but it's all on the outside of stimulation. So you need to really, really get creative. And this might be something that, okay, you've planned for this and you're going to try it. So you're going to put some time away, say on a Friday. It's Wednesday. Between Wednesday and Friday, think about different ways in which your different ways in which you could make this work. What things that you would want to use. Get prepared. It could be something you're going to go into the sex store yourself and pick something out for your partner. Maybe you want to start out with that lingerie, crotchless panties or something along that line. That is completely up to you, and surprise your partner with such, because in the end, we are still going for that result of Outercourse and orgasm. Using that Outercourse to get to and maximize that orgasm. It's probably going to be so freaking hot the first time. But once you get to where you like it, it is going to be something you're going to want to always bring in, or to forego or enhance the foreplay, because it is just Outercourse is just enhancing the foreplay. Said it in the beginning, and I'm going to repeat it. We all know this. That is the whole goal. And if we start thinking in that manner, Outercourse will take away the thought when you're actually going to do it, and it will take away the idea of having to penetrate. So constantly like working yourself into it, constantly knowing that at the end the whole idea is you just want to watch and have your person have that, partner have their orgasm right there in front of you without you having to have them on you or whatever the phrase, or penetrating them. Just you can watch them. What is going on and how they are totally turned on by what you are doing to them, your touch, your feel, your lube, your massage, your dry hump, and everything all wrapped up into one. So you're going to have to work those lips, work that tongue, get those muscles around your mouth working so it doesn't cramp up, because that is not a good thing. You want to keep going with that. And those are your weapon in Outercourse, including your hands. So we do want to use that. You can use various sex toys, and we will talk more into that later on or in the next segment, because sex toys are our friends, especially with Outercourse. Putting that dildo aside and not using it is what it will take away the need to penetrate, and it makes Outercourse easier. I mean, there are couples out there, individuals out there, but mainly couples who actually have some, been able to master some form of outer sex. For those of you going and starting this, first time's gonna be a little bit of a challenge. That's why I state that taking away those things that will think and have you wanting to penetrate, put them aside so that you are not tempted, because that's not the goal here. There are plenty of things to, do and not do. Outercourse is very important. It allows you to build up your level of intimacy and bond by achieving that orgasm without penetration. And it is very good as well with, if you're having difficulties as a female of getting stimulated, this is a way of getting you really stimulated, working on other sensations there, which are going to help you to improve your stimulation and getting you the most wet and, slippery, slidey, and all of that good stuff. So that when you do have sexual intercourse on another time, you can start out that way. Same thing with the man. If they're having difficulties with getting an erection, this is a way of getting, pleasure and having your partner pleasure you to the point of being able to work on and developing a better erection so that you are ready and have a way of sustaining it at that point. Because you're always going to want that little more, because we are human and our minds are stuck with the penetration part with this. But this is a way to work on strengthening your erection. And at that point, next time you go to have actual sexual intercourse, start out with that and then go to town. We are going to take another break here. Thank you for coming back. So go replenish that snack, replenish that drink, come back, get relaxed. Meet me back here again for some more sex talk about outer sex, non-penetrating sex. And then we will finish up with 11 awesome positions that will respark your sex life.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to the GSMC podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Andra, with a topic about sex is from the point of view of an older woman. And thank you for rejoining me. I hope we are well stacked with snacks and drinks as we continue our topic of outer intercourse. Now, in the last segment, I touched upon mutual masturbation. Now, believe it or not, there's actually something called double masturbation, which sounds somewhat like that. And when it comes to outer sex, there is a difference. Because with double masturbation, your partner is masturbating both themselves, and you at the same time. So really take that lube, rub it all over your genitals and your partners, because first of all, when you are double masturbating, you will need a lot of it. So rub that and get it nice and sloppily, slippery, wet, because we really need to have good motion when we're doing this, no friction. And the idea to this is to masturbate your partner while stimulating yourself, which is the overall goal here. Obviously, it will take some time to maneuver. But obviously, once you're in position, you'll both, be able to have a synchronized rhythm going. And there's where it gets more intense. Like mutual masturbation, there is an extra connection with double masturbation. It's, swapping round is a way of now your partner has the opportunity to get that connection or feel how you're feeling or what pleasures you got out of being the dominant in that double masturbation. And it also helps you to understand how your partner likes to be stimulated. So that is very good, and that is the difference between mutual masturbation and double masturbation. as going on with Outercourse, grinding and sex toys for Outercourse. Sex toys are always a good thing. Doesn't matter if it's intercourse or Outercourse. Always, always a good thing. There are these toys that I spoke about in another session that they now have out there that actually synchronize with each other. While your partner has one, you have the other, and they synchronize with each other. And this is a way of getting that mutual stimulation, but without, the difficulty of if you're having a hard time getting in sync with your partner. But these things are out there now. I mean, they have come a long way. So look them up and use them. They are there for you. Always, because this is Outercourse, we are going to use external vibrators, which are going to be able to, get that overall effectiveness of stimulation for the clitoris on a female, or the perineum, and that's that lovely nerve and area between your partner's scrotum and his anus. Or likewise, you sit down on this, and it's very stimulating. Especially, that's why women, as they say, we can sit on the washing machine and get stimulated, because we sit on ours. Well, everybody sits on theirs. I guess ours is just a little bit more sensitive, but that is okay. There is nothing wrong with that. Obviously, one of the most famous Outercourses is the Careza technique. So that's one to look into as well. And I had a whole session on this, which I find this particular technique quite interesting and a great way to continue to build that bond and intimacy with your partner. It is always, always good to try new techniques and try them over and over again until you feel comfortable with them and you work them the way you want them to, work for you, because that's what they're there for. All of these things are offered. All of these things are guides. It's how you use them and manipulate them into your sexual life. And that is the whole idea. It is so tantalizing just to say the words. And, you really should embrace Outercourse. Remember, there is no wrong or right way to have sex. It's just really what is more pleasurable to you. Whether you love or loathe the word that you hear, think of a different word for it that works for you and your partner. That could be a little word that, sets you off and gets you going. You don't have to use Outercourse. Sounds so technical. So remember that this is your sexual pleasure and your partner's sexual pleasure for who and which you are sharing this with. So remember, it is a bonding. It is a growth in intimacy and ways of learning each other even deeper sexually and stimulating. Now, I like to get a little technical in there with studies here and there, so you know that things are actually working and we are getting this information from ourselves. And there was a study that reported 36% of women need clitoral stimulation in order to have that orgasm. And another 36% had, mentioned that while not necessary, it significantly enhanced the experience. So, this Outercourse is definitely a more inclusive way to approach sex, too. Because remember, outer sex is just an extension of foreplay. So that's a good thing to have. And with this, both partners have greater opportunity to orgasm. A lot of books out there. And there's like the ultimate intimacy guide for passionate people, which, covers Outercourse and all other ways that you can enjoy the wonderful sexual experience that have nothing to do with intercourse. So a lot of books out there. They are out there for your pleasure. They are out there for your learning experience. They are out there for you to just sit back and enjoy. So these are really good things to look into. Now there are definitely different techniques to use. And we are now gonna go over some of those techniques with Outercourse that you can integrate in. Some of them you already know what to do. You probably don't even realize it. And knowing about them and hearing about them allows you to be able to say, oh, all right, this is what this is how I can do this is how I can, go deeper and enhance it. Obviously, it's change up how you kiss is our first one. Kissing, the most passionate thing, and a lot of people, a lot of women, a lot of men, actually judge through a kiss. And I'm sure you have heard it. People say, oh, they're good in bed, but oh my God, they can't kiss. Or even before it gets to that, any type of foreplay, any type of sexual activity, they can't even get past the kiss because it's too sloppy. It's not in rhythm or whatever. Kiss is very, very, very important. Kissing counts without a fuss. It is actually, like I said, that dry hump is from the 80s and the high school days. Just like with kissing. Backseat of the old car. It is make out sessions. Have lots of them. Because sometimes, just having a make out session is all you need. And you don't need to go any further, and you're just having so much fun with that, and you're getting what you want out of it as a turn on. So there is also during kissing where you're doing your partner, bites or is sucking on your lips or that bottom lip, or they just lightly kiss it with their tongue, caress it. So you gotta, it's a way of turning each other on. And remember that. Another technique is touch each other. And, you can lay side by side. Obviously, these are really basic things. And sometimes we forget the basics are really what are important, because you got to start with the basics. So lay down, both of you on your back, and your partner puts their hand on you and you put your hand on your partner. Both close your eyes and just basically touch each other. It is an experiment. It is an experience. It is how you are enjoying this and putting this together. You're exploring each other's bodies while not really, touching bodies. It's just with the hand. Your hand is a sense. It's touch. This is how we learn things. We touch them. We learn by touching things, using our senses. So basically, move around each other's bodies. Try to touch places that you would normally have full access to when you're facing each other or you're on top of each other or having sexual intercourse. That way you are learning new ways and other ways to entice and seduce each other while touching. You're activating your mind because you're having to think outside the box. So it's very, very interesting. Communication, always key. So, because you have to communicate your wants and needs, your preferences and pleasures, especially when it comes to Outercourse. Another technique, and we will finish this technique up in our last segment. But just to let you know, the next technique is hop in the shower. Yummy, yummy. So let's take a break here. And when we come back, we will finish up our techniques to Outercourse and finish up with ways to respect your your sex life in general. So come on back and join me for more sex talk with Andra.
Are you tired of the same old news? Are you sick of the seemingly endless political spin and negativity? The GSMC America Still Beautiful podcast is a weekly news podcast covering all the top positive and uplifting news stories. We cover stories that will inspire, uplift, and remind you of the good in the world. Tune into the Golden State Media Concepts America Still Beautiful podcast to get all the great and positive news stories of today. Download the GSMC America Still Beautiful podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
Welcome back to the GSMC podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Andra, where the topic about sex is from the point of view of an older woman. Now, as promised in the last segment, we are going to finish up our techniques to Outercourse and pick up where we left off at hop in the shower, and then finish off with some positions that can respark your sex life. Always a good thing, because after a lot of Outercourse, we're going to want to go deep for that orgasm. And these are some stretches so that you can get deeper and be able to have much more orgasm. And the deeper you go, the harder the orgasm is. So, hopping in the shower, people. Shower's always a good thing. Doing it with your partner, even better. We, as women, need lots of stimulation and focus, as well as a relaxed state in order to orgasm. Some of us do, some of us don't, but the majority of the female population does need this. Obviously, massaging our inner thighs and bathing or a shower together with your partner helps tremendously to get you there. So it relaxes you. When you get in that shower from a hard day at work, what do you do when you get in there? You just let the water just roll all over you. And it is so stimulating and relaxing. That is like the perfect time. Bring in your partner. If you want, tell your partner to after, or, let your partner surprise you and get in the shower with you. So this is always a good thing. And allow them to wash your hair, massage your back while you're in the shower. A lot of stimulation there. A lot of good hands, stimulation, massaging. That warm water is an added bonus. Another, which kind of unique Outercourse technique is to breathe together. It is an exercise. And breathing together, you are gaining a closeness and you are relaxing your body together. Synchronizing your breathing is a way in which to gain closeness and relax the body. And doing it together, you're both gaining that relaxation and that rhythm, which is very intimate. Number 6 on our list, and coming to the final 7th, is obviously with Outercourse, it's all about senses. So awakening those senses, very, very vital, as well as the breathing and synchronicity. Block your partner's eyes, like put a blindfold on your partner's eyes. It will activate your partner's other senses. Same thing with you. You can actually, just thinking about it, put a blindfold over your eyes, put a blindfold over your partner's eyes, and touch each other. Because you're going to have to turn on every other sense that you have, because to accommodate for that one sense that you are blocking. And there's a ways to do this when you can put music on and you can stop by making out. Obviously, you're going to have to feel your way around until you get to your partner. But that's the fun of it. And that's the mystery in it. And in that trying to find and using your senses, activating all the ones that you are not, using normally at that time, but now need to use because one of your other senses is being blocked. And it's going to be such a blast, a turn on, an intimate, extreme moment in time. And you're going to laugh you are going to let out these cries of enjoyment, but it's fun and activating all of these senses by exploring each other. Obviously, you'd like to try this, first of all, just blindfolding one partner, and then having that partner touch you, and then vice versa. And then the two of you blindfold yourselves. And with the both of you blindfolded, it's going to take some ingenuity. So try it. It is something to try. It is something different, and it is fun. So do it. This is how you, the minute you take off those blindfolds, you'll be looking at each other through new eyes. So, and that is not a pun, by the way. That is actually the reality and what you want. And this is where you're trying to go with this. So now, our last good, lovely Outercourse technique is to find each other's erogenous zones. And you are going to really slow down and explore each other's body. Generally, when we're going in for that foreplay, or we're going in for, sexual intercourse, we kind of sort of dive right in. There's foreplay there and everything, but by the time you just get each other worked up, you go right into the act. This slows you down, and you can explore each other's bodies, and you discover new erogenous zones on each other. It's funny because there was a therapy group, and during that therapy group, it was found that many female patients say that their partners go directly to their nipples, clitoris, and or the anus in order to please her, and that they prefer a longer warm-up. And that is true. We do like a longer turn-on and warm-up as women. We're going to get wet. We can tell you what we want, where to put your hand, what to do. And being very boisterous is key here. Outercourse relies on all of your other things that we take for granted that our bodies have to offer. So, with that is the end of Outercourse, but the beginning of how to respark your sex life with different positions. And there's stretches that you can do and things like that. We're going to go over a few of these because they are always fun after having an intense Outercourse session. The next time you guys get together and have time, you may just want to go straight to sexual intercourse without even having foreplay, because you're so turned on by that Outercourse. So these are ways to, get deeper and help you to get deeper within your partner. So these are different sex positions. Obviously, if you like the missionary position, you're probably going to like a lot of these. So, first one for our first position is 45 degrees. Okay, now this is brought to you by a sexologist, so they do know. This position is explained as getting deeper penetration while still hitting the same spots as missionary. It also allows for optional eye contact. The gist of the position is to have your legs of your partner's shoulders creating a 45-degree angle. So now we're going to talk about how getting into that position will work. 1, you stop by lying on your back and position yourself at the edge of the bed. Bed always good. Now while you are at the edge of the bed, place your calves 45 degrees from your face and rest them on your partner's shoulders. Align your chest. Now, next step is, once you have aligned, grab their thighs and bring them forward a little bit so their chest is above your breasts below your chin. Now, we generally lay on the floor like this. Sometimes when you're laying on your back and you put your legs together, and it's actually a yoga position. So, getting into that position and working it as a missionary allows you to get deeper into your partner and, really hit those spots, those erogenous zones really hard. Because we all want to have that ultimate orgasm. Now, in this position, it's like a reclining, chilling goddess. This position is a little more complicated. Obviously, we had the 45-degree angle one. Now we're going to the reclining, chilling goddess. You start out lying on your bed with a few pillows under your thighs. Bring the base of your feet together in a butterfly position. Now, it is recommended to lube up that clitoris. Very, very good. Now you're going to have your partner lie on top of you. Gently take their penis or the dildo and glide their penis or dildo around your vulva on your terms and at your pace. And then you could do counterclockwise circles around your clitoris. So the whole idea is you'll feel this 8 out of 10. It release the soles of the feet and wrap your legs around their calves and basically rock your pelvis up and down. So as your partner's body moves with you, and it's ensuring that you have that clitoral stimulation that you need and are longing for. So you can add into this, add a toy. Now, we always know that toys are good. So if you want to basically stick with the missionary, do that. But add a little extra by sticking a pillow under there as a wedge. There is a pillow for this that you can purchase online. It is called the Liberator. And it makes it a little easier than having to take a ton of pillows off the couch and putting them there and using them. But if you can be a little creative, still go and use that. So Hands-free riding is next. This is a classic position. And it's actually turned a bit on its head. It is basically doggy style, but while you're sitting up. All right, you're going to have your partner sit on the edge of the bed and then slowly place yourself on top of them, facing away from them. Okay, now we do this when we're laying down. This is now while we are sitting up on the edge of the bed. We put just get lube. That's all. And put it on your partner's fingertips. As you slide into them, you're going to guide their hand to your clitoris. And then you're going to ride their hand to your liking. So basically, they're doing it, you're riding them, your hand's free. You could put your hand over theirs and to show them what kind of circles that you want them to create around your clitoris. If you want small ones, mediums, large, slow, fast, up, down, whichever you preference. Let them know, with or without words, because you can just guide the hand, or while you're guiding your partner's hand, you can mention to them, how that you would like it in sexual tones. Next one is the very lazy plank. Boy, that one doesn't even sound enticing, but we're going to try it anyway. So I will explain that. And this is considered one of the excellent positions out of this. And this is how it's done. You place yourself chest down on top of an exercise ball. Okay? Or 5 pillows. I think an exercise ball is much more daring. Then you open your legs, rocking your pelvis a bit as your partner go on their knees and get ready to enter you from behind. If you decide to use the exercise ball, it is suggested to make sure that you put a pillow in front of it so it will stop it and avoid rolling. You don't want to go flying while they're thrusting back and forth. Obviously with pillows, you get a little bit more cushion and stability, but a ball is quite a way to teach yourself how to balance. And it's really, really fun to try. Spooning is the next one. We all know this as a classic, always fun. It is the alternative to doggy style. It is incredible for a slower, more sensual mood. You have your partner wrap their body around you from behind. Big spoon. And then they slowly enter you from behind. And they bring their arm gently around your torso or towards your breast. And then slowly rock back and forth until you find a perfect rhythm. The whole idea with that is the rhythm in it. I'm a little tongue-tied today, but that's okay. I have my moments. Now, taking this from sex from a sitting position, if you like that, there are some ways in other positions you can use, like the pushed against the wall. Generally, what is happening here is obviously you're having sex up against the wall. It is affording you the sensation of being penetrated from underneath. Then use your bedroom walls basically to your advantage. You have your partner lift you up and wrap your legs around their waist as they gently enter, obviously from below. And basically gravity will take effect in this position. So that's always a good one and always fun. And the challenge of being up against that wall and holding your partner up is probably not even going to be thought of at that time. But with that, because you're getting a deeper penetration, you're not even going to mind that. You're just going to continue until you do that. You have that penetration, you have that orgasm, and it is in full force. If you want after, when you release, to just come down the wall, do that. Obviously, shower sex is in there. And that's a part of Outercourse and Intercourse. And see how it just transitions so smoothly. That hop in the shower, and once you're in there, that warm water is just rolling over you, and it is relaxing you and stimulating your senses. And then you just slide in from Outercourse into Intercourse. The shower is always the best place. You can spice up your morning routine. Obviously, the walls of the shower, use them. Use the tub in the shower. When you're down on the floor in the shower, you can have the water coming wider over you because the span is widened up. As you are in there, you're totally relaxed. That warm water is just flowing through your sensations. Rock back and forth. Allow both of you to enjoy the steam and warm water. If you love shower sex, this is something that you may want to invest in, which is a handle and a footrest. That actually there is something such as the shower sex kit. So try that and put that in there. And it helps with the greater risk, to avoid the falling. And it is beneficial. It might even provoke more and more shower sex with your partner instead of just that one time or that time here and there. So that's where that shower has just went from Outercourse into Intercourse. And believe it or not, that particular length of time, you will be at sex probably an hour or more and not even realize it because you are so in the motion, you're so relaxed, you're so bonded, everything is just gliding into each step as you go along. Now, sometimes penetration is painful and not enjoyable, so there are different things to do. And one of them is the O-nut. Now, the O-ring is for those who find penetration to be painful. It is very helpful. It is worn externally at the base of a penetrating partner, e.g., one with a penis or a toy. O-nut compresses down to act like a buffer. There are sets, and each of them comes with 4 linking rings that incrementally adjust how deep feels good for both partners. So basically those rings are adjusting to basically control the depth of penetration. And it makes it that much easier for the woman to not be in pain or find that sexual intercourse and penetration is painful. Way to help that out. Now another technique, obviously, start with fingers and always use lube. Lube, there's a common goal here and a common thing here with lubrication, which is always good in everything you do. So if penetration from that partner or that toy is painful, you start with fingers. Now, there are a varied things that you can do. If you start with your fingers, it is a complete misnomer that sex is only sex when a penis goes into a vagina. Well, not really. I mean, you are experimenting with the fingers. It is excellent because not only can you and your partner explore better angles, what will be easier for you to handle when you are being penetrated, adding fingers one at a time can also help, and in girth. So don't shy away from the lube. Use lube, which makes it that much easier and helps in the resistance of pain by minusing the friction that will come with that. Obviously, if vaginal penetration is painful, try anal penetration. It's counterintuitive, however, this might be something that can be handled better. So, anal penetration also is a stimulant because you can hit the G-spot from behind. However, you might want to start a little slow by lubing up your fingers and try anal penetration that way first and work up slowly, bigger and bigger, where you can get to a dildo and then a penis. So please, these are things to look at. These are ways to just make sex all that much better for you, because we are always trying to find new ways. Try them. Research. Do it. And as always, practice safe sex, if not for your partner, for yourself. And I thank you for listening to the GSMC podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I would like to ask that you please remember to subscribe to the show and write a nice review. That really helps us. Also, if you can, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'd like to say again, thank you, and have a good night.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sex Podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcasts on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type in GSMC to find all of our shows from the GSMC Podcast Network. From sex and relationships to health and wellness, life and happiness, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's episode of the Golden State Media Concepts Sex Podcast.